Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphanlast, and today I'm going to go ahead and conclude this process of creating the bones on top of the meshes and everything, and just showing you guys the structure that I've gone ahead and created. So this is the root, and this is how everything comes together. These specific handles right here are just so that I can kind of finagle control over this little lip that overlaps with the forearm over here. That way, if there's ever any point where, say, this forearm is bent, I can just go ahead and move this portion of it along with it, so that it has a skin tone that follows along with the movement in the scene. Let me go ahead and delete that keyframe. In fact, let me delete this keyframe as well. I don't know why there'd be a keyframe on that hand, but anyways. So let's see. This is what I painted rigid and what I didn't paint rigid. Let me turn off this arm really quick here, if I can. Yeah, right here. You can just totally see that. All right. So next is the forearm. Let's get into that. Alright, so the forearm, it's been painted rigid like that. Let me just select the mesh right there so that I can go ahead and... wrong arm! I don't have anything created on the right side of, stage right side of everything. But anyways, so that's the only thing that's been painted rigid on his forearm. And so if I go to build skeleton and I select this mesh, you can see what I created here. Let's go animate. This is once again to kind of follow the arm, the hand and stuff. I can kind of do a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit of foreshortening with this. And if you don't know what foreshortening is, I suggest that you do a quick Google search to figure out what I'm talking about. And these will just be able to move so that they can go ahead and conform to the shape of the bicep right here. And so that works out really well. I can also adjust the thickness of this a little bit. Might have to move things around in order to get that to work, but I can thin this out a bit. And so things are kind of interesting with this model here, but yeah, you get the point. There's some weirdness going on with it, but like when you're forced to work with this, you'll find a way how to get it to work. So let's see here. The next thing would be the face. So let's go ahead and move up to the face here. And these are the things. Okay, actually, let's work with the head first, not the head, the neck. Now, the neck is actually something that's got some crazy stuff going on with it. Let's select the neck. Now, if I let's see, build skeleton. I'm going to rotate the root so that you can actually see what's going on here a little bit. There's a lot of controls going on here. There's a lot of skeletal structures going on here, and the reason being is because I don't want it to be so that if I go into animate, I don't want it to be to where if I move anything here, it's going to change a whole lot. See right there, once I start moving this, it starts moving the collarbone a little bit, and I want to be able to have some customization options that won't influence the collarbone too much. And I think most of what I'm going to be finagling are like this little handle right here that pertains to just basically, I think these are tendons that are going through the neck, and this right here, I don't think I'm going to be messing around with this too much. Okay, I can't move that. But this right here controls the lip here, and that just makes it so that depending on the position of the head, I can just move this around so that I can make sure that the head is actually covered and given support from the neck. And one thing that I like about this here is I can move his Adam's apple up, so when he's talking, it can move up and down a little bit. I can also have him drinking water, which I think is pretty interesting. So there's a lot that I can do with this specific skeleton, even though it's fairly complex. Let me go ahead and go to build skeleton and move this just down here, the root, so that you can have maybe a better point of view of what's going on with this skeleton if you're wanting to copy what I'm doing. And you can just go ahead and pause and transition back to your browser, and then go back to Open Tunes and see what it is that's going on, and at different points in time. But yeah, so that's basically what's going on with this specific skeletal structure for the neck. It looks really complex, but it gives me a lot of control. I don't think I'm going to be let's see, animate. I don't think I'm going to be moving these around too much. I don't really see too much of a reason to do that, but it's always an option if I want it to be an option. So let me go ahead and turn off these two columns, and I'm going to turn on the head. Okay, 1 second here. Alright, so this is the skeletal structure I have for the head. It's really simplistic, but basically the idea is that I want to be able to actually, maybe I should move the root, simply because like if you notice, things will rotate around the root, and I don't think I like what's going on there. So maybe I'll go build skeleton and move the root to being right here where the mouth probably is typically going to be, and this way when I go to animate, I can just go ahead and move things around. And so basically, if he's looking down, I could have him looking down. If he's looking up a little bit, I could have him looking up. Or I could do some squash and stretch where if he's turning his head, I could have different drawings in the level strip, and I could just go ahead and quickly, well, not necessarily quickly, but I could go ahead and draw out some different heads, different versions of his head, and like a profile view here, a profile here, and just kind of draw a few other little in-betweens and a few other basically a few in-betweens here, then copy all those levels, flip them, and then paste those levels into level strip, and then throw them into the X sheet, and basically flip these so that it's the inverse. And then once it gets close to the middle, I could have like this stretching effect. I could even stretch out just basically everything on his face, so that there's like this motion blur effect that goes on here. It's pretty extreme, but it would only be on the screen for maybe 1 frame. Now his entire head, it was painted rigid, and as for everything that's on his face, all the assets on his face, they're also painted rigid. Now this right here, just with this setup, with the building of the skeleton, I can give him different eyebrow positions and give different emotions really quickly. With this right here, let me go ahead and rotate the root real quick here, and you can kind of see what's going on. Okay, so go into animate. I can just kind of have him sniff and such like that, real quick and easy. And his mouth. So let me move the root so that you can see what's going on with his mouth. Okay. Quick and easy emotions, real quick.